What's going on, everybody? This is Pro Wrestling Wire Radio. I am the Professor Rick Del Santo, of course, my always co-host. Got the potato head right there. Uncle Otis is with us today, of course. And we have a very special guest today, the Puerto Rican Prince, Angel Santiago. What's going on?
Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I am the vigilant, conscientious, but at the same time pretentious man, your TF Crew world champion for over 900 days. Thank you for having me on your show, Mr. Del Santo and Mr.
No,
Uncle Otis.
of
Over
course.
900 days, Rick.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's a long time.
That is long, very long.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. And this is your first appearance here, so
Yeah,
think I discovered you last year. Around the same time last year, I attended my first TF Crew show, held at the Paradise Alley Training Facility. It was the Rumble that you guys had there. That was my first experience, experiencing a lot of talents that I was not used to, but yours in particular. So.
thank you. I appreciate that. That was a great event, to be completely honest with you. I think that we had done great stuff that day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was surprised. I guess we can dive a little bit into the TF Crew information. We talked to Gabe Sayers about a week ago.
Mm.
I am completely impressed with what you guys are doing as far as being such a young company and a bunch of youngsters in the world of professional wrestling and such. And you guys started up this company, and the views that you get on social media, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere you guys go, and the amount of people that pack your shows, man, it's amazing. I don't know what the hell you guys know. Maybe it's the youth and you understand all that stuff. I'm old, so I think it's pretty awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I think that we appeal to a different type of audience.
Yep.
I think a lot of the time, especially in our territory of Connecticut in the Northeast, there's a lot of, oh, like we're just going to cater to families. We're not going to swear. We're going to make, specific things. And that's great for the companies that typically do that. Um, but, I think that, for better or worse, what makes us is our back is constantly against the wall. From the day that we've started this, we've had people questioning us, blaming us, telling us that we're not good enough, telling us that, we're going to shut down. And I would say we've outlasted a lot of companies who've said that. We've outlasted a lot of people who have claimed that. And I think that we've proven to everybody that we've made this an actual brand. We don't have a consistent place we run out of. We run out of so many different places, and we're going to continue to run out of multiple different places. We're going to go to venture to different states. And the goal is to just keep our brand name up and to keep making this, bigger and bigger, keep bringing in bigger people, keep doing bigger shows.
One of the things that is coming up February 15th, a Sunday afternoon or evening, I should say. It starts, I think, about 5-ish, right? 5:30.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
is bell time, 5 p.m. if you want to do signings for VIP.
Okay. And you guys are running the Connecticut Post Mall, Milford, Connecticut, and I believe that's your first time running there. And as Otis and I were talking about last week, that's a place I kind of grew up in, spent a lot of my teenage years in there. Uh, my youth was spent there growing up in, the area. And I'm kind of amazed that there's going to be it's going to be my return
Mm,
to the Connecticut Post Mall because I have not been there in quite a few years.
mm.
So, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be unique. So I guess you're going to be running a different kind of show there, seeing that there's going to be so many, family type people there, I
Yes,
guess,
yeah. I think that's also what I think that's when people constantly argue with us about like, well, you guys do this type of wrestling, you do that type of wrestling. Everyone wants to box us into like
Right.
what we've done in the past and like what we've shown so many times is we're willing to do so many different things. Like we're
Right.
willing to be in so many different places and not just be X type of wrestling, Y type of wrestling. Again, just this past event we had 130 people. We had a hardcore match. The event before that, we ran another, there was the hardcore death match. But the event before that, we did it at a summer camp and it was totally family friendly. So to pigeonhole us and to say that we could only do one type of thing is really just limiting your expectations of us. I'll say this, and all my friends keep saying the same thing. How'd you get a show at the Milford Mall? How'd you get a show at the Milford Mall? How is this going to happen? Because we're like that. Like, I hate to be that guy, but we're just like that. Like, we're expanding, we're growing, we're trying to do bigger things than just one arena or one place or whatever the case may be, or one group of talent. Like, we have so many different guys from so many different places. So yeah, no, you're definitely gonna see a different show on February 15th, but it's gonna be a great show.
And you have a WWID prospect. What's it? Oh crap! Andy O'Rourke coming in.
Aaron Rourke, yeah, yeah,
Aaron
yeah.
Rourke, correct. Thank you for
It's
correcting me.
No, no, no. It's okay. Aaron, no, Mr. Rourke is definitely he's gonna be fighting myself for the TF Crew World YouTube Championship. It's gonna be a great match. On top of that, we're also gonna have Cheeseburger making his return at this event. And we have two other little special surprises that are going to be in there. I know Gabe might have mentioned one on the last time that he was with you guys, but there's another little surprise that we're going to be putting in there. And yeah, I'm really excited to announce all those matches. Actually, going up later today, we did a press conference at the Boys and Girls Club where there was some interaction between myself and Doc Holliday. So that'll also be interesting to see.
Awesome, awesome. Otis, you got anything?
No, well, yeah, actually, just to back up a little bit, when you were talking about how pigeonholing TF Crew like that, I have to be 100% honest with you. When I first started following you guys, I did the same thing because that was the only thing that I had seen that was coming from you guys. And I think that now I've known you guys now for going on almost 2 years.
Yep.
And I attended the show that Rick's talking about. That was pretty mild in comparison to what you guys had done in the past.
Yeah.
The most we saw was some Legos, I
Yep.
mean, a typical dad could deal with that,
Yeah.
walking across his living room if he's not smart. But I want to say one thing about TF Crew. Since I've known you guys, and and I'm telling you guys this, and this comes from the heart. I'm getting goose pimples. If you could see on my show, I'm getting goose pimples. I love you guys. You guys have always treated me so golden, and I appreciate that. And that's why I push you guys as much as I do. And the more I follow you guys, the more I see that you do have a lot of talent. And when we were talking, Rick and I were talking with Gabe at the last show, our last show with him. Um, he had said that you guys kind of found your niche.
Yeah.
It's not quite the death match thing so much, quite the simple classic type match. You guys are bringing it all together and creating something that everybody can enjoy without worrying that my kid's going to see something they shouldn't, or uh, I don't know, or the match was boring because
Yeah.
it was just a pillar to post kind of thing, and it was dragging on. And I want to say you guys have, in the 2 years I've known you, you guys have grown immensely, and I love I when I say your main roster, I'm talking the guys who have been with you since I met you, like Castor and of course Gabe and you and I think Doc Holliday actually I've for well over a year and a half now, and I mean I can name if I could even think of half of their names, you know what I mean? You got a
Mm-hmm.
great crew, and Rick was really hard, heavy on that last in our last show about what an awesome crew of guys you got, and again tonight. He was talking with me earlier saying, I mean, the fan base you guys got is it bar none.
It's
It's bar none.
dedicated.
I mean, it's
Uh,
unreal how many people follow you guys and love and adore you guys.
It's
We
a dedicated fan base. You guys have like this certain camaraderie amongst everybody on the roster, like you and Gabe and stuff like that, and it's like a brotherhood. And
mm,
your fan base. And I got to tell you, it's I guess that Bloodsaw worked on a show of yours or whatever, and I was talking to him, and he was like he couldn't believe it's like the one thing that he got to give it to you guys, and he mentioned it was just like you guys are all tight and very dedicated to what you're doing, and I think that he respected that, and that kind of, I was kind of harsh on you guys a little bit in the beginning. Because I'll tell you honestly, deathmatch wrestling necessarily isn't my flavor. And, I attended that show and there's a lot of crazy stuff. And, but wrestling as a whole, and I mentioned this with Gabe, it's a variety show. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun to go to a show and see different kind of stuff. But I did see some really great stuff at that show as well, not just saying that kind of crazy stuff.
Are we
No, I
talking
appreciate.
about him? Or are we talking about your birthday party, Rick?
The, the birthday party, I got to tell you,
Yeah,
I
crazy
don't,
stuff and fun stuff.
yeah, I
Okay.
don't remember much about that. So,
And moving on.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you both for continuing to support us and giving us a shot. I will say, I think the part that makes TF Crew great is that after every show, Gabe and I come back together in the writer's room together and be like, okay, what worked? What didn't? What criticism are we going to take? Again, I would say that we probably started this show as like an R-rated thing, and I say we've come down to the point where we're just about, we're at like the PG-13 level, I'd say. And I think that's kind of where we want to rock it. Again, besides us doing these family friendly shows, which again, I also think that we're gonna, I wouldn't say push the line when it comes to like verbiage or blood or anything like that. There's not gonna be any of that on the mall show. I can tell you that much. However, I will say like there are gonna be like we're still gonna be trying to get heat. Like just we're not gonna be doing silly heat. We're not gonna be insulting the town. Like we're not doing that type of stuff. This isn't we don't treat our family friendly shows like house shows. And to your point before about us having such a tight knit group, I would love to say that Gabe and I are the two people who have, oh, it's us and, we're the ones that are doing this, but it's not. I mean, Doc is the reason that I'm here right now. I mean, he's shown me everything that I know when it comes to my in ring and my character development. We have guys like Caster who constantly bust their ass when it comes to being in the ring and doing what they're doing. Mikey, who takes on any role we ask him to take on and just absolutely kills it, now taking on a ring announcer role, which he's great at. You have LJ Wash, who does a lot of our video editing when it comes to social media stuff for free, just because he like wants the brand to expand. Bloodsaw, the guy who provides us our ring and wrestles for us and is totally down with whatever storylines or people we throw at him. Like the group that we have is truly evolved from us being, in a backyard, wrestling our friends to now being with professionals and treating this professionally and trying to make money on this and making it a true brand. I mean, we have so many different, channels now and social medias and whatever the case may be. And our goal is to just honestly keep expanding and become more known in the area. I mean, the Milford Mall show, I hate to sound like a mark, but it's WrestleMania. I mean, this is do or die. We're probably, we're already at, I think it's 80 something tickets sold.
wow.
And I've announced un match. So hopefully when the other five get announced, or six, I think it is, hopefully we'll get some even more ticket sales.
Make sure we
Where,
get a hold of those, match me and Rick so we can just splash the internet with those matches, please.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
where in the Milford Mall is it taking place?
Where Santa is, where Santa usually is, right in the middle of the atrium, right in front of Macy's and Boscov's.
Okay,
So
okay. I'm sure
appropriate.
you might get some like a pretty good walk up as well, considering it's a mall type setting.
So it's funny, you're not the first person to mention this to me. Now, I will put this out there first, just for people who don't know. This is a benefit for the Boys and Girls Club. So if you're a piece of shit and you walk by and you want to stay there for all 7 matches for free, you're a piece of shit. But moving on from that, there's also the mall does close at 6 p.m. That's when we're going to be starting our card. They're not really going to be able to come into the area without mall security coming, being like, hey, move along, whatever the case may be. You're also probably not going to be able to see. We already have a lot of front row tickets sold. So on top of that, you're going to have people behind those people. It's probably going to be 4 rows on every side of the ring. And yeah, you're really not allowed to go to the mall beyond that, beyond the point of exit. So I would say don't mooch. If you want to mooch, mooch for one match and then buy your ticket. Give
Yes.
it to charity. It's not that much money. You're going to be seeing WWE guys, TNA guys, Ring of Honor guys, New Japan guys, all on this card with our special guys.
An
Uh,
ECW legend will be there as well.
ECW legend, former WWE, former hardcore champion, Nunzio will be there. So all I got to say is support the club. Of course, there's going to be people who walk by. I'm sure there's going to be a group of teenagers who try and mooch off this show, but I hope at the very least we make them believers.
Yeah, yeah. Otis, do you have anything else to ask regarding the mall show before we move on?
No, I'm wicked excited. I can't wait for you and I to. Rick and I are very excited about working the show for y'all and and getting this out, getting it out there even afterwards, just so people can see what this product is all about.
I
Right.
think honestly the biggest part about the small show is to get people again. This is the at least in my opinion. Again, you guys have been around longer. You tell me, but I don't think that there's ever been a wrestling show hosted in Milford, and that's where I'm from.
In Milford, you got the high schools, but nothing like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
in the
nothing
Milford
at the mall,
Mall.
I
Yeah.
should say.
Yeah.
But it's been a
So,
while since it's at least been at the high schools. I don't know when
oh
that
yeah.
was, but it was probably at least before I was around. So
Yeah, I can go back to the 1980s, 1990s and talk about some indie promotions that were out there.
there you go.
NAWF, the Savoldis. I could, I
So
know there
they
was some more. I know there was some more. I just can't think off the top of my head right
Yeah.
now.
So it's been that 40 years since something has come to this type of area. And I think it'll be good for all the people who nobody's experienced, a show in this area in a while. So I
Yeah,
think that that'll be kind of the drawing point.
right. My other question is, now I want to go backwards, all the way to the beginning of the Puerto Rican Prince and a youngster. What influenced you in wanting to do something like entering the world of professional wrestling, and what were some of your earliest memories as a fan and getting into it?
I'll go chronologically then. So my first time experiencing wrestling, my dad told me we were going to go to a Yankee game. So I put on my Yankees jersey and my Yankees hat, and all of a sudden he drove me to not New York City. He drove me to Bridgeport, Connecticut, at what was called the Webster Bank Arena at that point, and he was like, "This is wrestling." And I sat down and I was skeptical. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if I want to like this. And then Edge retired in front of me,
Oh,
announcing that his neck injury he couldn't do it anymore, and
I
gave
remember
up the
that.
world and gave up
Yeah.
the world championship live on TV, and to see the reaction from the crowd and to see the amount of inspiration that he had put in these people, and again, yes, they were disappointed, it was sad, and people were crying, and it's, for some reason that almost inspired me, like, wow, this guy had done so much in his career that him coming out again, you couldn't have, again, obviously he's returned since, so a little less poignant when you look back on it. But in the moment, though, this dude just won the world title. He's at the top of the mountain. This is the best way you could ask to go out. And these people are sobbing because they just want more. They want more of him. They don't want him to leave. So that's what truly inspired me. From that point, when I was in high school, like every stupid 15-year-old kid, I backyard wrestled with my friends. And I had some minor success with that. I will say we had gone on Fox News, which was really fun, as backyard bullshitters. So that was an interesting time where, like, we were starting to get some recognition. It was kind of odd. We were like, how do we handle this? We're just trying to mess around, but then we obviously got on the news and a lot of people started knowing us. Whatever the case may be, that was really fun. Put that to rest, and Gabe came to me and he said, "Would you want to, do training with Doc Holliday? Would you want to, get started with me, start this company?" I was an owner. I honestly, to be honest with you guys, I only came in as owner within the last like 6 months as like a true owner of the company. And to be a part of this from the beginning and to have so much support from the TF guys, that's what's inspired me to keep going. And opportunities just came, and I can't say that I'm like, oh, like, oh, I did all this, I contacted every person I could to get in. Actually, that's a lie. Florida, I was calling every person like, come on, book me, please. But in the north, though, I gotta say I had a great family and a great amount of people who supported me enough to give me a shot at their companies.
What's it like working in Florida? Is that where you're from initially?
No, no, I'm
No.
from Milford, Connecticut, born and
Oh,
raised. I went to school at the University of Miami, the U.
gotcha.
And yeah, I was down there for 4 years, and this was around the time that Gabe had started TF. So although I was getting northern bookings, I couldn't really leave school. I was still, I
Right.
wanted to complete my degree the whole nine. So I was like, how can I wrestle in Florida? And you know, I had done some great things. I had done some fun things. I got to be on a show with Kurt Angle and Kevin Nash. I got to wrestle at a carnival at the Space Coast State Fair. That was really fun. I got to work for some great companies like Amp Pro Wrestling, the Florida Wrestling Federation, and work with a lot of guys that are in the WWN. So I gotta say, like, it was a great experience being in Florida. Obviously, there's always, your hiccups and your rocky points or whatever the case may be. But I gotta say that it was a good experience to be down there, especially to learn too how do you appeal to different fan bases. Because in the North, obviously Jersey's a little different, Pennsylvania's a little bit different, but it's relatively the same wrestlers going throughout these, indie promotions, whatever the case may be. To be in a completely different setting, none of my friends are here. It's just me, myself, vouching for myself, trying to continue to get things up. It was a good experience for me to gain confidence in my ability to wrestle.
Right, right. Otis?
Yeah, whereabouts in Milford you grow up?
I went to Jonathan Law High School, so I grew up on the down side of town.
This is
I was going to say before he said that, I was going to say, you a Jonathan Law guy.
Oh yeah, I was class president. Class
Okay.
president of
oh
20.
wow. So I
Okay.
wrestled in high school for Amity High School.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yep, yep. And well, we one time wrestled Jonathan Law High School, and I got my ass handed to me basically, annihilated by this guy that was he had much more experience than me. I think it was like my first year, and I got my ass handed to me. So
See,
Jonathan.
I went to foreign high.
Oh,
um,
there you go,
But I
Lions fan.
graduated in '79, and then back then I can't say I was very proud. I was probably nothing more than a pothead. I was I wasn't involved in any sports. The only sport that I was involved in was running from the principal. I unfortunately I was a lot thinner back then, so I was I always placed.
nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the YouTube championship that you hold, when you won
Mm,
it, and all that such wonderful stuff.
Well, that's a fascinating story. I don't know if Gabe went into this, but it was our first show. We were in a backyard, and that was kind of the theme of the show. Is like he was trying to bring together all these people who had done backyard stuff and whatever. So the plan was that I win it, and then I defend it in the main event. Like win the opening, go to the main event. Great, awesome. Yeah, we got kicked out of that event midway through. Because the homeowner's wife did not know we were running that event there. Apparently, I didn't know this, and kicked everyone out, screaming at everybody. Now, me, I have my little short Muay Thai pants on, no shirt. I ain't got no pants. I got this title, and I'm running down the road like this, screaming my head off to make sure that I don't get arrested. Jumped in my car, and yeah, that I have held this belt ever since that day.
Wow.
Yeah, this belt is one of my biggest labors of love, I call it, because it took a lot to, you know, a championship means nothing besides what's happened with it. So trying to, put it in prominence, defend it in different states, defend it against bigger opponents, try and sell out more audiences, sell them on the fact that this is a world title. I mean, again, the evolution of this belt has been one of my, biggest accomplishments, I feel, because it went from running away from a backyard, running away from, possibly getting arrested by cops to being in the Milford Mall against the WWE ID guy. So, yeah.
You defended that belt. Let me just say here. Yeah, in a dog collar match against Mikey Anarchy, and
As,
go ahead.
yep. As far as I know, that's the first dog collar match in Connecticut history. I haven't seen any tape of that being denied. So
Hmm.
we phrase it as that. I don't know if that's true. Well, at least this
I
one
I can't recall any. I've
right?
seen Russian chain matches at PAPW, but I've never seen a
And
dog
bull
collar
rope matches
match.
with Dread. I
Yep.
know that
Yeah.
has happened.
Right.
Other than that, though, I don't think it's ever happened in Connecticut up until the point that Mikey and I had done it. Yeah,
hmm.
that was an interesting match.
Yeah. Let's see. You had also had a series of matches defending that title against Rodney Belmont as well. And I was in attendance for one of them, the one at the Unhinged Rumble. You guys went to a time limit draw. And he's an impressive performer as a wrestler goes.
Mm.
He's also a big history buff, I think, when it comes to
Huge.
professional wrestling as well, such as myself. Like I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to wrestling history because I know I've seen him post on multiple, social media platforms where he is posting lots of classic footage and talking about it and really analyzing it at times. So what's it like? And I've actually had the opportunity to work with him a couple times as commentary. What's it like working with Rodney Belmont?
He's taught me so much in the ring, like absolutely an absurd amount. Like not just from us like actually working together in the ring, but just us having conversations outside of it. I did do GTS for a while, Grimm's Toy Show, and that's where I had met Rad Dad. And for him to like kind of take me under his wing, explain to me how things are supposed to go, explain to me psychology, how to not kill my body in the ring before I go and I do other things, like trying to explain to me like how to make things like make sense in the ring. Like he really took everything that I had like, I'd gone to Florida at that point. I was doing all these different bookings, and he kind of like narrowed me down. I was like, all right, but what do you do? How do you stay consistent? How do we make sure that like you're not doing dumb things that are going to get you, pulled off a car, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. How do we hone your promos? Like he really honed in on a lot of my different character traits, especially when we worked together, tried to suit my style as much as, I tried to suit his. And I think that we have a very unique chemistry between us two in the ring.
Right. You guys had some interesting topics on that show. The Rumble was quite interesting. I
Yeah.
saw, for the first time in person, I saw skewers get inserted into someone's head, and a comedian that was not so funny. No offense to you, but
No.
to the
That
comedian. And I will tell him because, uh, I know him. So, you know, I saw him at Blood, Sweat, and Tears last week, was it? And yeah,
was that
Manny.
another wrestling show that he did?
No, he is. I think he's part owner of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I think I could be wrong, or one of the promoters at least. Him and one other person.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah,
it.
TF
I
Crew's
think.
done with comedians. Just if you guys wanted that scoop, we're done with
Yeah.
that.
That was no offense to you or TF Crew, but
No,
and he and I have, I've never made fun of his directly about his comedy rather, excuse me, but
it's a word
didn't
for it.
laugh. Yeah, yeah,
It's a word
yeah,
for it.
yeah, yeah. Let's see what else. So you guys have been running the Lincoln Room over at the in Bristol, and from what I understand, I've never actually been in that building, but we won't bring up the other company that ran there. We talked about that with Gabe, and they were not very happy about it. But I
No,
understand it's a beautiful room, uh, and a great
I
place to
love the
run.
Lincoln Room. I
Yeah,
love that place.
it's
never been
great.
there. Yeah,
It's a
Great
great.
venue.
It's a great venue. The guy who owns it's a super nice guy, veteran. He gave us a shot. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, and that's all we can ask. And I feel like that's the theme of the TI Crew. If there's one consistency that we've had among our whole thing, is anyone who's given us a shot, we've knocked it out of the park every single time. There are people who can say what they want about us in any other way, shape, or form, but I will say every single person who's actually given us a shot, we have executed for them. And the people who talk the most shit about us have never actually given us a shot. No person could say that we've trashed the venue. No person could say that we've ever fucked their ring up. No person could ever say that we've injured one of their wrestlers while they were with us. No, none of that. No one could ever say that. So I will say on that point, but yeah, the Link Room is awesome. It's fantastic. Great venue. We've done more and more ticket sales, creeping up. We're hoping that the mall shows obviously are most attended ever, but yeah.
I'm sure that it's going to be. I mean, if you guys are already at 80, now you have about 3 weeks left, maybe.
Yep.
So I wish you guys the best of luck with that. I think it's going to be awesome. I think you're going to sell a lot more. But what I did hear about you guys, whenever you're in a building, you rent a ring, etc., etc., you guys clean up extra special, and it's nicer than when you first walked in the place.
We try to. We try to. I will say that Gabe and I are absolutely anal maniacs about that. We will lose our minds if anything bad. Like we I'll tell you this, here's your inside scoop. We have a wrestler who does like a beer gimmick.
I
And my
remember,
match is
yeah.
next, whatever, I'm planning my thing, and Gabe comes in the back and he's screaming, he put beer in the fucking ring, god damn it. And I'm like, no, and we're losing our minds. Lo and behold, like a wrestler comes out after the match. I'm like, is there beer in that ring? And they go, no, it's water. And I was like, Gabe and I look at each other. We're like, all right, we probably need some therapy. We need to chill. We're freaking out over absolutely nothing.
Well,
But that,
you don't want to get the somebody's canvas smelling
not at
like beer
all.
beer permanently. Yeah, yeah.
And you can even see the reason that we've had our hardcore matches last two events at the Lincoln Room involve Mikey and Gabe is because they both know if they bleed, they ain't putting their face in the mat, or else I'd freak out. So they they're pretty good about that. I hate to say that I'm sometimes the Vince McMahon of this promotion, but I sometimes am like, oh, what are we doing? Like sometimes I'm losing my mind. So
There's a particular match. We just talked briefly. You mentioned his name earlier. In just this last show, Syndicate Siege, you defended your title against Cheeseburger, and I have not seen this match. Is it on YouTube already?
we are releasing it soon. We just released our first match of that event today. We're releasing
Okay.
the pre-show first, and it's gonna
Everybody go check it out. So I want you guys to
please
check this out.
TF Crew
And
TV and TF Crew.
yeah, yeah. And tell me about working with Cheeseburger. Obviously, he spent quite a bit of time in Ring of Honor, and I think he did some.
A lot of New
Did he do
Japan.
some AEW as well? Yeah, I
He
think he did.
did the
Or
Ring of Honor offshoot of AEW, so
under.
yes
Okay.
and no.
Yeah.
He also worked for New Japan a lot, which is extremely helpful.
Yeah.
What a professional! I mean, seriously, what a professional! I mean, just being in the ring with him. There are very few times that I've been in the ring with somebody and I don't have to do anything. Meaning, like I just have to respond.
Right.
And especially as a young guy to learn from somebody like that's very helpful. Doc Holliday, Rad Dad, Wrecking Ball Legursky, those are types of people who I've been in the ring with who I don't have to do much with because they just know it. They just know it. They're on it. And to be in there with him and it's like it literally felt like I was just having a 15-minute conversation with the guy with bumps in between. Like
Right.
we were just talking, whatever, boom. Again, I'm not gonna lie to you, there's one thing I did to him that I thought I killed him. And I go down and I go, "Oh, are you okay?" And he goes, "No, but thank you for asking." And I'm like, "Oh, what a nice guy!" As I roll him over onto his back. So I'm like, just what a pro, what a guy. I would work with him a million more times.
Cool. Cool.
Super
Otis,
nice guy.
anything? You're muted still.
Oh no,
Hello.
hello.
Okay.
Well, testing 1, 2, 3.
Let me. I'll need to edit this.
Yeah,
Okay.
but anyway, you're also working a bit of a story there at Pure Vanguard Wrestling, with Broadway Joe Malcolm, and who basically came up with all of that with because you've got this thing going where you and Gabe are on the shits,
Oh yeah.
and I'm enjoying it myself. But I'm wondering, like, whose brainchild was that?
So Nick, Ref Nick had came to us and he, discussed this story where we were going to be tagging and then we were going to move forward as like singles opponents against each other. And Castor got brought into it. Thank God. It makes me happy when we can move people up with us. Like I love that he's involved in this story. Prior to the December event of Vanguard getting canceled, we were kind of planning to have a one-on-one, but I'm excited to work Gabe and Castor at the same time. That's going to be awesome. I will say when it comes to Broadway Joe, it was like I don't. It was Castor and I versus the stepdads,
Yeah.
and we were about like an hour ish away from going out and doing the match. And Nick came up to me and said, "See that guy over there? He's your manager now," and walked away. And that's how I got my beautiful, beautiful man named Broadway Joe. I love that guy. He is a wealth of knowledge. He's a funny ass dude. And I don't know if it's just a match made in heaven, but like him and I have this chemistry together where like I feel like we don't step on each other's toes, but we're able to enhance each other in the perfect way. So I'm very thankful to have Joe as my manager.
You got a busy weekend that weekend because on the 14th is the Pure Vanguard show up at the Boys and Girls Club in Bristol. And then you've got the Milford Mall show that your brand is doing, the TF Crew, on the 15th.
I will say, unfortunately, the TF Crew will not be making an appearance February 14th. They had other plans going forward at Pure Vanguard Wrestling. I wish them nothing but the best on the 14th, and I hope that they have a great show. I know that we've talked to Doc Warren a lot. I know that they have their own thing going on. I really hope that they do well, and I cannot wait to come back to Pure Vanguard Wrestling in 2026.
Oh, I
Does
apologize. I really
No,
thought
no,
that
no,
the
no.
storyline was going to continue on the
No, no, no.
14th.
I know that they have things going on, and everyone can't always be figured into the plan in that
Right.
exact moment. I know that also a show cancellation, they're pretty much consolidating two shows into one in this one. But I'm excited to come back to Pure Vanguard Wrestling. I'm excited to sell some tickets and wrestle my ass off for them.
There you go. I'd like to see that go forward because
Mm.
Joe is a great guy. Gabe's a great guy. I interviewed Joe probably 2 or 3 months ago, and part of the I do a lot of shows with territory guys and stuff like that. And he sent me a bunch of footage. I had a hard time getting my hands on footage of him, and once he sent that some pictures, I got to tell you, his story is so damn interesting.
It's fascinating.
It is. It really is. He sent me a match of him against Tully Blanchard, and
Yep.
I was like, what? Like, and then oh shit, who else?
Jake
I
the
think it was
Snake
like
broke his nose.
yeah, Jake Roberts. And then I was looking through some Mid South footage. I think it was 1986, and I'm just watching it because I watch a lot of old stuff. And then all of a sudden, there's Broadway Joe. I said, "Oh shit, it's Joe!" And then I sent him the clip, and then all of a sudden, my inbox is flooded with more stuff. So so
Yeah, you gotta love Joe.
that
He's
is
a
a great
funny
guy.
guy.
Yeah, yeah, he's a great guy. Like I said, NWA. From Central States, I spoke with Rick McCord, who was a legend in the area out there. He remembers wrestling Joe. Some people
Yeah.
really remember him and having like great matches with Joe on TV back then.
Joe is a pros pro. Like he
Yeah,
really knows what he's talking about when he's out there. And like honestly, like I love now, like when I have him with me at Vanguard, I love to be able to go up to him and just be like, "Hey, like we're thinking about doing this. What do you think?" And he'll kind of like pick my brain and be like, "Hey, I think you should add this. I think you should do this." And I love people like that who choose to like just give me little tidbits that are helpful. Now that I'm working with Corey Duke a lot, he does the same thing for me, and he's a really great guy.
yeah. Corey is amazing. I think for somebody that's been in the business as long as he is, and it's kind of you're gonna hear me say it a lot on these shows that like I'm really high on Corey Duke as far as like being a wrestler, and I'm a
Yeah,
huge fan of his, and he's a great guy on top of it. We've become kind of buddies, you know what I mean, over the last
yeah,
couple of years because I think the first time I ever saw him was at a Paradise Alley show at the brewery in New Haven. You would have thought that he had been wrestling for a few years during that
yeah.
match that I saw. I was like,
He's a
holy
natural.
shit. Yeah,
He's a natural.
absolutely. And I was just so impressed. And then, anytime he's on a show, I'm like really looking forward to that matchup. Him and now I'm happy to see his
Hmm.
brother Caleb has returned to the world of wrestling. Caleb's another great athlete, but he's got to catch up to Corey. You know what I'm
Corey
saying?
is,
Yeah.
and I gotta admit to you, now that Corey's on my heel syndicate team, yo, Corey's one of my favorite heels ever now. Because I like him as a baby face. I love the cowboy.
Yeah.
Him as a heel, I was like, Corey, where was this? When did this come out? I didn't know that he could flip like that so quickly. Like he's so good at being this like, oh, he's a
Yeah,
great heel. I
yeah.
love him
He
as a heel.
when they're doing their practicing spots at the school, he plays a heel a lot. He does the heel spot or the
He's
heel hopping
great.
spot.
He's a great heel.
And yeah, he is. He really is. He's great at playing the audience, even if there's not one there. Because
Right?
he always, even in training, he acts like it's a real match. Like he's playing to empty chairs.
Hey,
It's
that's
it.
what you got to do, though. It's like
Yeah,
cutting promos in the mirror.
and that's what makes him so good. He really lives it. He really
He
does.
loves it.
It's definitely a passion.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. What else you got coming up that
Mm.
let me ask you before I ask you that. I'm sorry. We'll go back to that. Talking about Wrecking Ball Legursky. Now I'm kind of like I wanted that storyline in Vanguard to continue because it made sense. You guys set the last show, you guys did this whole setup where Broadway Joe was going to get back into the ring. And I believe that if my notes are correct, you were supposed to team with Joe, right? Against Gabe and somebody, if that was
So that's kind of the interesting thing. I don't know where plans are going right now. At first, like, because Gabe wasn't going to be able to make the December show, it was going to be Caster and I one on one. And then I've
right.
heard that they want to do a triple threat between the three of us, possibly going forward. I have heard that it could be Joe and I, maybe down the line against Doc Warren and somebody else. So I don't know. There's a lot of plans being thrown
Oof.
around that I don't know, and I would love to do any of it. I love everybody involved in this. So
Right.
I'm with it for the ride. I just appreciate that Vanguard has invested as much as they have into the TF crew when it comes to just like bringing Caster, letting Gabe and I do our own stuff, like letting us work amazing opponents like Wrecking Ball. Like, I can't thank them enough. So whatever they got in store, I'm so game for it. And their fans hate me. So I love it.
Yeah. I think that, and I mentioned this, I spoke with Pretty Poppy earlier, and we were talking about Doc Warren and Pure Vanguard Wrestling. And Doc is one of those guys here in Connecticut promoting shows in Bristol. And he's been one of those guys that he's bringing a lot of the different companies together for his show. And he's a great guy for the community in Connecticut, the professional wrestling community.
Yes.
And there is so much wrestling in Connecticut. And a lot of people don't necessarily work together, but Doc is that guy that gets
Mm,
a lot of different companies to work together. And he is a super nice guy on top of all of it. He's just, he's like everybody's brother or father or, best friend. And he's just a
mm.
great guy to sit around and talk wrestling with or just talk life with. He gave me a sweater for crying out loud because he thought that I'd
Oh,
like it. So, you know,
I have a rule. If somebody tells me that they don't like Doc Warren, I don't like them. Real simple rule. If you don't like Doc Warren, then we ain't friends.
How
Because
can you
there's
not like
not a
Doc?
bad bone in that guy's body.
right, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So is there any plans prior or, excuse me, post Milford Mall show? Anything as far as TF crew? Do you guys thinking that far ahead? Who you're going to bring in, etc.?
So we have storyline plans obviously that are going forward. I'm excited to see all this expand. The saga of I turned on my longtime tag partner Christopher Black, so to see how that's all going to pan out. You saw the show where he won that TF Crew World Title opportunity. He still hasn't cashed that in yet, so to see when he does that. We are in talks to do some more family friendly type shows, and obviously returning to the Lincoln Room as well, coming in these next few months. Our biggest thing as well is we just don't want to oversaturate. We see a lot of the time when if you don't have a consistent venue and you don't have a consistent schedule and you're trying to run too consistently when it comes to like month to month at the same place, it's just not profitable.
Right.
It makes no sense. So we're trying to. This is the first time we've had this amount of wrestling stuff consolidated into such a short period of time. Even for me, honestly, I run my own business, aside from wrestling, like, I help, I'm co-owner of the TF crew. I try and do my own wrestling stuff on the side. So I've completely bowed out of the wrestling scene from, since I faced Wrecking Ball to now, because I just want to completely focus on TF crew. Post mall show, you may see me hitting the independents back up and, getting myself back out there just because I have then, the time and the energy to be able to do so. But yeah, you're gonna be seeing some summer plans come together. I'm hoping. I don't want to jinx anything, but again, we're looking at another nice charity event that's hopefully going to be a good time for everybody, and that'll hopefully be in Seymour, Connecticut. So I will definitely update you guys on that.
That's
All right.
really a place to be able to attract the fans is by doing charities and fundraisers in the world of professional wrestling. And you can get a decent amount of people to get to your shows if they find out that it is a
Mm,
fundraiser of some sort.
Exactly. And not only that too, I find, I did an interview with the Bethel Shelter in Milford, Connecticut recently, and they said if you just bring one pair of mittens, that's another connection that we have to somebody in the community. And that's how I feel. Anybody who comes to this mall show, whether they're the 13-year-old kid who goes to the teen center at the Boys and Girls Club or the 60-year-old person who's going to the Cinnabon in the mall, I just want to be able to make that connection with that person so that when they hear TF Crew Wrestling, they go, "Hey, no, I remember that. Those were the kids who were at the mall." So
Yeah. Yeah. Otis, anything else before we dig into the final segments out of this show?
no, I just want to make sure that you know, Puerto Rican Prince there leaves us with all of his yes, his socials, and also you can uh tell us all the socials and stuff, how we could follow TF crew. Let's get that out there too, because that's the only way they're going to be able to see the match cards as they come up and find out where you're going to be. Because seeing that you don't, I think it's awesome that you are traveling, because not to use the circus as an example, but the circus was successful because it traveled.
Yes.
It didn't just stay
And
in one place.
that's what where professional wrestling, the whole, circus circuit, it kind of
Originated,
evolved
yeah.
from. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So
And
I
with
think that's really great. And I just want to make sure that blurt all of those out, all your personal ones that you use and what, TF Crew.
make sure you follow Angel the Prince Santiago and underscore at the beginning and underscore at the end for my Instagram. Same thing on Facebook. Make sure you follow TF Crew straight up on Instagram. Make sure that you subscribe to TF Crew and TF Crew TV on YouTube. TF Crew has our full events. TF Crew TV has our individual matches. So it's like a little WWE network sort of thing. But to your point, yeah, traveling circus. The reason why we're trying to be a traveling circus when WWE is very abroad right now. I mean, think about it. They're going from Quebec all the way to Saudi Arabia. That means there's a hole for us to be able to get some fans in the building. So,
Speaking
You
of
got that
which,
right.
I will be live next weekend immediately following the Royal Rumble. So
oh, nice.
I might even go live during the Royal Rumble,
There you go.
uh, and complain a tremendous amount. Maybe even be drunk at 2 o'clock in the afternoon while eating pizza
I
and
will join
wings.
you. I will be in
Yeah.
that stream.
And eating pizza and wings.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. It's gonna be fun. I've gone live, I think, the last 3 years in a row during the Royal Rumble. So anybody
Oh,
check it
nice.
out. Yeah. I'll take any questions. I will not answer everyone but depends on how much of a dick you are. But I should be live on TikTok during the Royal Rumble.
TikTok,
All
baby.
right. This has been awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you
Nice.
came on the show today,
No,
Angel.
you guys are the best.
I'm really, really happy.
Yeah.
And
Let's give a shout out. We have a mutual friend now. Angel, now in Tom Bryce from Sports Wire Radio, who's become a great excuse me, over the last couple weeks. So let's give a shout out to him. He's been also
Out,
very
out.
supportive of Pro Wrestling Wire since we kind of became in contact with each other.
Tom Bryce, great guy. Literally has supported me since like the day I won the title all the way till now, all 900 days. We always have our interview and he goes, "You still got the belt?" And I'm like, "I still got the belt. Let's talk about it again."
Yeah,
So
I mentioned it in his live chat last night and then he went sick. So shout out to Tom, kind of like putting it over and trying to get people to subscribe to the channel, which every time he mentions us on his channel, it goes up by a few. So thank you, Tom, and I appreciate that. He's going to come on the show sometime in February, so we're going to be
good.
talking a bunch of professional wrestling. That guy's a great character, and a great. Yeah, I mean, that guy's show is awesome. He's busy every single day on YouTube.
That's great. He's a
Yeah,
great guy. And you
yeah,
guys are great supporting the indies. And just, I can't thank you guys enough for supporting my company and myself as much as you guys have.
yeah. Thank you, thank you. We're gonna
yeah.
have you back in the near future.
I'd
Mm,
love to. I would love
Absolutely.
to.
yeah.
All right. Thank.
Absolutely. It would be fun to have you back on again. Yeah. And want to say much love to you. And I miss you and hopefully get to see you,
I
I'll
miss
see
you
you on the
too.
15th
Yes,
anyway.
you will. Oh, yes, you
So
will. With bells on.
Yes,
awesome.
sir. Go check it out. TF Crew TV on YouTube. Go subscribe. The link will be in the description of this episode. You'll be able to see plenty of great matches involving this young gentleman. Of course, everybody else involved. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the Pro Wrestling Wire, and definitely subscribe. You're gonna hear lots of great content.
You
Angel,
better
thank
subscribe or I'm sending the syndicate to jump your ass.
Angel, thank you so much.
Thank you.